Here we go!
Do we have delay on delay? That's amazing.
I think we do, and we've got a delay difference between the game feeds. There's been a good 10 seconds passed since Monkey started, and Nixer still has not started. There he goes. Alright, there's about 15 seconds difference between them. Well, let's just assume it's a handicap. So I guess you're the SADX runner. Do you want to introduce what the run is basically about and all that?
Yeah, well, we're going to start off on Sonic's story here, and basically throughout all these stories you're going to have the game split between boss stages and action stages. Sonic's story immediately starts off with Chaos Zero here, and what you're trying to do is manipulate him for each of his hits. Once you've hit him the very first time, if you go back to your starting position, he'll pop up quick. If after the second hit you want to take a deliberate hit, which will force him to come back up again, and then on the third hit you want to make sure he jumps onto a lamppost and immediately descends, otherwise he'll jump around all the lampposts and you'll have to just wait for him to come down whenever he decides to do so. So after Chaos Zero has done, you jump into Emerald Coast here. Emerald Coast, you will see main form of movement, of course, being spin dash chaining, where each player will be mashing the respective spin dash buttons to try and maintain the fastest possible speed. The only time you don't want to be doing this is when you're going downhill and you just want to remain in ball form, as that is the quickest form of movement. So you can see Monkey here is just unfortunately not getting to take the top route in Emerald Coast Act 2.
He's struggling a little bit.
He unfortunately got bodied by the camera there and got stuck. So what happened was he went through the top route but didn't hit the spring. I think that's just a case of you're going too fast and at the wrong angle, which causes you to miss it.
Interesting.
What we're going to witness is that you're going to witness them taking the island hops, going around the outside of the level bounds, and then skipping basically a good portion of the level there. You can see that on the French side, Nixer there has already finished thanks to that death that Monkey had, which unfortunate, but it is time for him to catch up. So we're going to see here if Nixer will go for the Crystal Ring early. He's decided against it. Nope, he's going to head straight towards Egg Hornet.
Monkey is doing that though, so this is one of the interesting thing about Sonic races in general, that there are many different routes that you can take throughout Sonic's story. There's the glitched route, the linear route, and the TAS route. Monkey is going for the TAS route as well. So there's those three main routes, but you can also choose as and when to pick up the Crystal Ring upgrade for Sonic, which essentially cuts down the time it takes to charge a light dash. I believe it's objectively faster to take it, but some runners view it as a matter of preference.
What it does is, as you said, it allows you to charge up your spin dash quicker, which is used a grand total of 5 times in the run. The main time save comes from Chaos 6, as you have to charge up the lightspeed attack against that. But it also allows you to, I believe it has an effect of when you're in water as well. I can't confirm that straight away, but it allows you to do more efficient spin dashes, which is quite a strange upgrade in itself.
Mm-hmm. So
so the routes have diverged at the moment. You'll see that Monkey is now going to do Egg Hornet, and it looks like he's behind, but he has already completed an extra level. And Nixer here is resetting for an interesting reason. I don't know what's going on here at the moment.
So essentially, the runs aren't really going to correlate to each other until, I want to say, about halfway through. I think it's until the runners reach Red Mountain. That's the point where the routes converge once again. I think he might have reset because I want to say, I wasn't watching his screen, but judging from where he is and why he reset, I want to say he probably threw the wind key out of bounds.
Yeah, at that point though, you're probably quicker just actually killing yourself in the hub world instead of doing a reset. But each to their own on that one. So what you're going to witness here in Windy Valley on Nixer's screen is that he's just going to phase through a wall there. SADX is a very solid game in that there are a number of walls where if you get the right angle and you spin dash through them, you literally just phase right through. For Windy Valley here, it skips a good section of Act 1, allowing you to get to the tornado in about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You've also just seen him there phase through a bridge. What was happening there is on the little numbered boost panels, if you spin dash onto them, it allows you to do a homing attack once you jump off. On the very last one, if you time and angle yourself correctly, you will homing attack up towards the spring, allowing you to skip the trampoline down below.
Yeah. And so as far as the diverging routes are concerned, so it looks right now as though Monkey is behind by like about 20 seconds compared to Nixer, but it's important to remember that Monkey has already completed Casinopolis, which Nixer will need to complete later. And because Monkey's also already completed that stage, it's going to cause some event triggers to play in a strange order. Like the task route has this weird event order that plays in which a little later he's going to get the light shoes in the sewer. And then once he enters the train station / casino area, because he's already completed it, it's just going to spawn the ice key immediately.
Yeah, it's going to, unfortunately, for whatever reason in this game, the Lightspeed shoes counts as an event trigger. You have to get them. There's no way that you can bypass them.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see the events happening soon. Nexar now has to go back to Station Square, grab the Lightspeed shoes, upgrade, and then do Casinoopolis.
Yeah. So you're going to see Monkey do the same thing, except he's not going to need to do Casinopolis. So you should hopefully see at this point that he may even be slightly in the lead at this point. We'll have to see. And then after Ice Cap, it is going to be Twinkle Park, correct?
Yeah, after Ice Cap... hold on, is it? No, after Ice Cap, we
Highway?
get the Knuckles and Chaos 4 fight.
That's right, yeah. And then it's Sky Chase 1, and then it's Twinkle Park. That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So Casinoopolis there, you just saw on Nixer's screen. What he was doing is he was doing a spin dash hover. Now, hovering is where you can hold the jump button in spin dash form to maintain the same vertical height for a second, allowing you to get underneath the level, beneath the invisible barriers, and then using slope jumping, get around and up towards the emerald without having to grab the 400 rings required.
And we're getting additional adverts on Nix's stream. Nice.
Fantastic. Which advert do we have today?
I don't really know.
Oh, this is not actually an advertisement. This is a woman who's just very, very happy about SADX. She
That's
can't
true.
believe how close this race is right now.
I'm seeing in the chat someone saying, like, who's leading in the race. Like, as we said, because of just the diverging nature of the routes, like, it's not really clear who's going to be leading until a little later in the route. Like, as the screens would
Twinkle
suggest
Park.
now.
Yeah. Twinkle Park is where we'll find out.
Yeah, the screens would suggest now that it's very close with Monkey, very slightly ahead, but it's very subject to change. And even assuming,
definitely.
even assuming that the routes were exactly the same from here on out, just the nature of the run is so dynamic in itself, where there's so many easy mistakes to make that the placement can change very quickly.
The sync here is amazing. They are actually neck and neck at the moment. Both of them getting a fairly decent ice cap here.
Yeah. Like 11 and 13, both of those are fairly good ice caps.
Yeah, and the fact that they are both falling into the void right now is amazing. But what's happening here through Ice Cap is you've seen they skipped all of Act 1 with a very nice spin dash jump. Act 2, they went straight through the barrier because, again, walls in this game don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And then instead of doing the snowboarding section here, which takes around 2 to 3 minutes, they are currently just falling down, avoiding some death triggers. There are still death triggers.
Yeah.
And with the level loading in underneath them here, they will both hit the emerald at a relatively same time, which is very nice. But at this point, the different routes have actually merged again. There's not much else of a difference other than Crystal Ring. So in theory, Monkey can still technically take the lead as he's already got Crystal Ring, whereas if Nixer is going for it, he still has to go grab that, preferably before Twinkle Park.
Yeah, and if he doesn't grab the Crystal Ring and they say they stay in the same place until Chaos 6, that will result in Monkey picking up a handful of seconds due to charge time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's mentioned about avoiding the kill planes in Ice Cap. That's doubly important at that spot, since not only will you obviously take a death if you hit the kill planes, it's pretty much the worst spot in the run you can take a death, as it doesn't respawn you at the start of Act 3, it respawns you on the snowboarding section, which is what we're trying to avoid by using the skip. And that section takes quite a long time to complete. It's not optional in Tails' story though, so you will see that later in the race.
So what we've got happening here is we have the Chaos 4 fight. Now this is where a little bit of RNG comes in. People are trying to manipulate Chaos here in not doing blue balls, but on Monkey's screen there, you just seen Chaos splitting himself into the 4 blue balls, so he's just lost a good 10 seconds there. The question is, will Nixer get that happening to him, or will he be able to avoid that?
Oh, but, 2 blue balls. Like, in essence, it's mostly about positioning and whether you're airborne. It's a lot of different elements though, but a lot of runners just try to manipulate blue balls by being airborne at like a moderate distance away from Chaos as he's going to decide his next attack cycle. It definitely helps to be airborne though, because you will notice when we do Tails and Knuckles' story, which also have this boss, it's unlikely that the runners are going to get any blue balls on Tails and Knuckles' respective Chaos fights, because those characters can stay airborne pretty much all the time.
Yeah, so you can see here Nix are taking a significant lead, simply because there's been 2 blue ball attacks on screen for Monkey, which is not great. Again, there's no real way they can make that up. It's just a case of it decided to happen.
Yeah, this is, I would say, one of the only 2 spots in the run to have any real RNG present. The other one being the flame tunnel in Lost World, but that's fairly minor in itself.
It is, yeah. So we're coming up to Sky Chase, and we've got Nixer here going into top right corner, top right master race.
Yeah, best corner. I agree, best corner. Spoilers, it doesn't really matter which corner you use. The stage takes the same amount of time. Whichever corner you use, the stage takes the same amount of time. This is just an auto-scroller, so...
It is. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can do at this stage at the moment. It should take the same amount of time for both runners, and yeah, it's up to them if they want to kill some enemies or if they're just going to sit there.
Yeah, some runners prefer to actually play this stage and try and go for a high score, but it doesn't affect the run at all. Arguably,
the main thing you want to do is you don't want to go over a certain score, because then you will get a second emblem.
Yeah, I was going to say that does actually waste time. Yeah. So I suppose that's why people don't bother playing this stage, because you can only actually stand to lose time by doing well in this stage.
Yeah, which is a shame.
People like asking about the time difference. I'm going to assume that from the streams like being reloaded at least once, that the time difference may have leveled itself out. I'm not entirely sure, because if not, then Nixer is probably about 15 seconds ahead right now due to the late start itself, and I'm going to assume that it's leveled itself out. We'll just have to see.
That'll be something for the 2 teams to decide, I believe.
Yeah.
As for adverts in that, even though an advert does play on stream, it does not affect the gameplay, so even if Nixer's stream gets interrupted by another person just being overly excited about this race, the run is still going on. He will still be progressing at his normal speed.
Yeah.
It's just we don't get to see the action. So after Sky Chase Act 1 here, you'll see Sonic falling back down towards Station Square, and that's where Nixer can decide to collect the Crystal Ring or leave it entirely. It depends if he wants to give up the time save on Chaos 6. As has already been said, Monkey already has that. He just has to go for the trigger for Amy and then head off to Twinkle Park.
The time save itself from the Crystal Ring, like, isn't as great as it potentially could be, though, since obviously the Crystal Ring itself does take time to collect.
I based on personal experience, the time is between about 6 and 10 seconds. So you can see Nexter here going for the Crystal Ring. He's using the Lightspeed orbs to hit the button inside the room to open the door.
Yeah.
That is a way that used to be done. Personally, I prefer just spinning on the button and jumping over now using auto camera. But each to their own on that one. It's just personal preference. So he now has the Crystal Ring as well, so that'll level them out. You'll see their Monkey going for the Amy trigger and then not having to go back up into that room.
The Lightspeed particles themselves, though, during the Chaos 6 fight, the runners will actually have to be careful not to hit Chaos with those particles, because they will inflict damage, but they won't do as much as a light attack.
Yeah, they'll do a single hit instead of the double hit that you want to go for. Next are here going for track skip on Twinkle Park, successfully managing to get it and stay on the track.
Yeah.
Was a little worried about his angle there, as if you get the wrong angle, you can ram into the barrier and just phase right through it, but thankfully not happening. We're going to see if... I didn't actually see. I think No, it looks like that Modified Monkey has decided not to go for it. He's playing it a little bit safer on this one. So that's a little bit of a time save for Nixer there. Coming up at the end of the go-kart dodgeum section here, you're going to see, hopefully, roller coaster skip, where you do a homing attack as you descend into Act 2 and skip the roller coaster. Well, it's effectively a cutscene.
There it goes.
So
Yep, he's got it.
All right, fair enough. Delay. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's successfully skipped that. So he'll do a number of spin dash jumps using the slopes of the roof, just allowing him to navigate towards the end of the level in about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You effectively finish the stage in the time it takes the cutscene to play out.
A detail about this coaster skip that you'll see, Monkey's just missed it there. But so a little detail about this coaster skip is that the runners choose to actively jump down the hole instead of just falling down it in running animation. That's important because the game does remember the state that you were previously in for what actions you can use, and that includes whether you're in ball form or not, like when you're currently jumping, and you need to be doing that in order to use a homing attack, which is what's needed for track skip.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, Monkey there just having a little bit of a problem with the camera. Camera not behaving for him, causing him to not know his position and fall off the edge there.
Yeah,
however,
tricky.
he will be able to navigate through the rest of Twinkle Park here and take an alternate route through the end of the level. Again, same idea, using the slopes to maintain proper angle, getting the spin dash for some height, and finishing the level in a respectable time as well. Meanwhile, Nixar speeding ahead in Speed Highway, already on the descent, at least on my screen. He will hopefully be heading into Act 3, where he will decide just to skip through the rest of it and say goodbye, Knuckles.
Yeah, he's getting bullied a little by the police there, but yeah, taking the normal route through Act 3, which, like, a lot of buildings and walls in this game just really aren't solid, they're just a suggestion. Oh, Monkey, that was a pretty YOLO setup for the skyscraper skip by Monkey. That was actually pretty nice.
Oh, very nice skip by Monkey there. It's actually quicker to do the setup that Monkey's just done there. Personally, I like the safety of going up the very top, just so I know I've got the height and the distance.
Right. So at this point, there is definitely no variance between the routes. So both of the players are following the same route right now. So currently, Nixer is ahead, and he's going to be entering Red Mountain next.
Yeah, there's about half a level between the two runners at the moment. I'd say maybe a good minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we're going to pick up the Ancient Light here. This allows your light speed dash to become the light speed attack. Again, needed to get into Red Mountain, as Red Mountain here does not activate unless the Kiki is actually destroyed.
Yep.
There are ways to get behind the gate as Sonic, however, if you do that with the Kiki being alive, it's effectively a soft lock, as I don't believe there's a way to get back out. Mm-hmm. Next, they are trying the Red Mountain IL strat, unfortunately not getting enough height on the first spring, so taking the backup route.
Yeah, Red Mountain is definitely not a trivial stage, so it's entirely possible that although Monkey's like lost some time through taking deaths elsewhere, like it's not unreasonable that Nixer could end up returning it here. But he's gonna. Sorry, you go.
I was just saying that for Red Mountain there, that you've seen, it's a number of spin dash jumps using the level geometry to cut out a good part of it. The main difference being that instead of going up and around the mountain as intended, we literally just spin dash jump around the side, allowing us to get into Act 2 fairly fast.
Yeah.
You'll see it again on Monkey's screen in a second.
So let's see, I believe Monkey's going to go for the IL strat as well. He needs to be on a steep slope in order to do that. He had a little bit of an awkward time with his turning in midair. One of the difficulties of controlling Sonic in this game is that although your momentum is like very dynamic and you can gain a lot of height by using slope jumps, turning in midair is actually a little tricky, since if you try and turn too quickly, you'll generally lose all your momentum. So in order to get a lot of height and then turn to be able to travel in a different direction, you need to try and develop having like smooth rotation cycles. But it's quite easy to make a mistake on. That Act 3 was pretty clean though, so that's definitely not a bad Red Mountain showing, I'd say. And both players are going to be in Act 2 of Sky Chase, which is again another auto-scroller, but it does have a bit of a forced boss sequence at the end.
Yeah, Monkey getting a nice Red Mountain there as well. Doing a different route, but again, the Red Mountain, it's whatever route you find easier to do. Yeah, as Ford is saying in the chat there, the boss at the end of Sky Chase 2 here is effectively lock onto the 6 launchers on the front of the nose and then just mash the 2 shoot buttons until the boss is at approximately half health.
Basically,
once he's at half health, you've fired enough shots that he should just die.
And yeah, the American team is about a minute behind, give or take. It's all time that can still go either way, really. Like, even inside Sonic's story, there's still more than enough room for error on either side. Just the...
Oh, definitely. One accidental death and that time can be made up. Again, all it takes is for people to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, Lost World has a number of skips that could go wrong. Mm-hmm. You've also got Final Egg, depending on how both runners are going to handle that stage. It is far from over at the moment.
Just the final boss itself, Egg Viper, it's possible to take deaths on that boss that cost upwards of 2 minutes.
Yes, and Egg Viper, he can be a little mean depending on how the runners have got their system set up. SADX is a special game where a number of voice files can overlap and cause some in-game lag problems, where the game just does not detect any of your inputs at all. And if you're at the wrong position for Egg Viper, you can be sent off the stage, which is not what we're wanting in this run.
Definitely. So here's the boss section that Nixer has just reached, and like we mentioned, he's just basically going to mash fire right in the middle of the cannon and tanking the laser all at the same time, because why not? And so he's going to be moving on to Skydeck in just a minute, but there's some cutscenes to like play through first, and these cutscenes, whilst the egg carrier is transitioning, you can actually pause during them, so that's a little annoying if that happens.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they decided that this rendering of the transformation sequence is like, yeah, it's a cutscene, but no, we want you to see this, so it's an in-game thing, it's not an actual cutscene.
Yeah. They were just really proud of showing off that model.
And to be fair, it's a pretty damn good model.
Yeah, for the time, certainly. So Skydeck is like a super technical stage. It's another stage with multiple acts. Like, pretty much all the stages in this game have multiple acts, but Skydeck is really not friendly, I would say.
No, Skydeck is the most technical stage. Again, just a number of spin dash jumps allowing you to navigate through Act 1 as fast as possible, or what you're aiming for here. He decides to miss the safety checkpoint, so that may cost him if he runs into any unfortunate situations. Hopefully he does not. What he's going to hopefully be able to do here is do a skip that will allow him to get straight to the cannon instead of having to go all the way around the outer railings of this level. Spin dash jump from the left-hand corner straight over to the center, taking him into Act 2. Act 2 is a race against the wind trigger, where you want to get to the section with the with the falling blocks before the wind trigger halts you in the same position. We're going to see if he then gets early cannon. You want to spin dash to the cannon, hit the rocket the second it spawns, which he's successfully done. allowing him to get into Act 3.
Oh, he even got early capsule as well. That was a very nice sky deck. That was a 112 sky deck. That's actually pretty good.
That's a brilliant sky deck. That's a fantastic sky deck for that time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you see Modified Monkey there just catching up as well, going through sky deck here. So there's not a lot in this. Like there's definitely not a lot in this at the moment.
Gamma is a similar sort of boss fight to Knuckles, like quote-unquote boss fight. All you do is just run into him 3 times.
Yeah, the only thing you need to worry about in character fights is that once you hit them once, they gain some invincibility frames. You need to make sure that you don't hit them as their invincibility frames run out, otherwise we do what is known as a phantom hit, where you will give them another set of invincibility frames, but they won't actually take damage.
Yeah, that's right.
So you don't want to be too early on those hits.
And are we going to have... Monkey tried to get the early capsule, but he didn't quite get there, so he's just having to go around and get the switch, which is the intended method to reset the orientation of the sky deck.
Yeah, good news about going for early capsule is that if you do miss it, it's only an extra 10 seconds to go back and hit the capsule button.
Yeah.
To hit the gravity button for the capsule. The worst case scenario is where you hit the capsule, but then you have Sonic land in a position where he's not actually hitting the ground, which will then cause the game to get stuck, and you can't progress. You have to reset and redo the entire stage again. So Nixer here doing Chaos 6, as you're witnessing, he is quite frankly just making sure Chaos gets frozen, staying away from him to make sure that the Lightspeed charge orbs do not hit Chaos, and then landing into him with the Lightspeed attack. That'll do 2 hits of damage instead of 1 each time, allowing you to finish off in 2 hits instead of 4.
With those Chaos 6 softlocks, though, you'd know all about those, wouldn't you, Sunshine?
Oh, yes. Haven't done it in a while, but yeah, it killed a good run for me one day. So next are just going through RNG Tunnel in Lost World here. It's the RNG Tunnel because basically they pop out these little rocks on the side. They'll either be burning or they won't. Ideally, you don't want to get hit by any of them. However, he did get bodied by a flaming pillar, which is not good. So we're going to see if he's going to go for a snake skip, where he'll do a spin dash, jump straight over to the snake in the middle, get an appropriate angle on the edge of the snake itself, taking him up to the top, and then pause phasing through the door, meaning he doesn't have to hit any of the switches, and finishing that room very smoothly.
Not opting for waterfall skip in Lost World, though, which is quite a difficult trick, which, to be honest, he would have had a difficult time if he'd gone for it there anyway, since the jump over to the waterfall that you normally take with the light dash, if you want to set up for the skip, you'd normally go around the pillars instead of straight across, as that skips a camera trigger. So I would say as soon as seeing that he wasn't going for that it was pretty clear that he wasn't going to try the waterfall skip, as it's needlessly difficult without the camera in the correct spot.
Yeah, waterfall skip, it's not worth taking the risk for waterfall skip. As nice as it looks for like a speedrun glitch showcase or anything like that, in terms of doing ILs, yeah, you'll take everything you can, but for single segment, you're already 28 minutes into your run here. You don't want to run the risk of failing this and then losing a PB.
Yeah. Monkey just made a slight mistake on Lost World. He was having a pretty good Lost World before there, and I'm not really sure if we mentioned before that the locked doors in Lost World, the players are able to just phase through them, since if you charge a spin dash against the door and then pause, you can do what's called pause phasing, which is that I believe as soon as you unpause, some solid objects just aren't loaded yet.
I think it's a case of the game, well paused, puts every object into its default state, and for some doors that default state is open.
Right.
So the second that you unpause before the game realizes, this should be closed, you're already through it.
Yeah.
Whether that's true or not entirely sure, but it is cool seeing it happen. It's a shame that Lost World is really the only place where you can take advantage of that.
So Nixer is just coming up to the final part of Sonic's story in terms of level gameplay. He's already on Act 2 of Final Egg, and he's just transitioned into Act 3. He's tried to do a short elevator skip there, and I guess we'll see as the door opens whether he's fully got that. Yes, he has, that's nice. Going for that transition skip there is not exactly trivial, since if you try and cancel at the wrong time, then you just get stuck inside, I believe, the floor of the elevator, and you need to take an additional restart.
Yeah, Final Egg is a relatively short stage. Like it's probably the most broken for Sonic's story in my opinion, because you're going through pretty much everything. Like you're not doing the intended route for any of the level. Monkey unfortunately getting a bad camera angle there and taking a game over in the Mystic Ruins hub world. Camera decided that he was not getting into the egg base and instead just pushing him off the edge.
Yeah.
However, the game over, not a massive problem. He gets his lives back. It allows him to have some lives going into Final Egg, which will allow him to also attempt the elevator skip going into Act 3.
Yeah, that's right. The passcode to get into Final Egg as well, thankfully that's not random. Like, you need to hit the floor panels in a certain order, but it's always the same. Like, it's always going to be either 2, 3, 4, 5 or 5, 4, 3, 2. So, that's very consistent each time. If that was random, then this would potentially be a lot less fun of a speedrun to do if you actually needed to logic out the puzzle each time.
Well, you're going to see something similar to that when we get to Amy's story. That's going to be very interesting to see how that goes.
So both players got the elevator skip, which is nice. And so this is basically up to whether Nixer can finish Egg Viper in a clean fashion now.
Yeah, the first 4 hits that you're seeing here, he's trying to do an early hit where we don't allow Robotnik to extend his tail all the way out. We do a spin dash jump right into him. That allows us to get back onto the same platform that we jumped from, and it just allows you to probably save about 10 seconds over all the hits normally. Because if you end up over the other side, you've got to wait for the transition of Sonic coming down from the hit, and then for Robotnik to finally orientate himself.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how much time save it is overall, but it's enough to certainly go for. Like, it's not trivial.
No, definitely. You wanna be going for them in every time you get a chance. Next are now having to do the Beyblade hits here, where hopefully he will not fall off like I've been doing previously.
He's been taking it safe. And, they've just transitioned stream, so I assume Nixer finished because it's just moved over to the Tail Story stream.
Hey, fantastic.
So we didn't see the end of the run, but I'll take their word for it that they finished. So Team France is now starting on Tails' story, which is, I guess, similar-ish to Sonic's story. You play a lot of the same stages, except for Tails' gameplay, a lot of the level objectives are just to beat Sonic in a race. And being that this is a speedrun, you're never at risk of actually losing to Sonic in a race.
Yeah, indeed. So the first thing you're going to see Quaker do in Tails' story here is he's going to go for the Jet Anklet. It's one of the most important power-ups in the game for Tails, as it increases his flight speed. And considering we're going to be doing a lot of flying in this game, it is a power-up that you most certainly want to go for.
Yeah, the Jet Anklets are definitely the most important element of Tails' story. So, Egg Hornet for Tails is, again, similar to Sonic. You can actually still do the, triple hit kill that Sonic can do, but because Tails can't mash homing attacks, the method is a lot more involved for Tails, and is honestly a lot more difficult, so we'll see if Quaker manages to get the double or even the triple here.
Yeah, with Tails, because
easy triple.
Doesn't. Oh, wow! I've got a massive delay there. Damn it!
That easy triple from Quaker. That's really nice. Like, that is not a simple trick at all. So that was very well executed. And Monkey's just finishing up Egg Viper here.
You wanna try and do the jump cancels each time just to make sure you gain the 1 cycle. Even a 2 cycle is good if you can get out of Tails.
So Team US has also finished their first story, and Alpha Dolphin has already started Tails' story on my screen. He's also going for the Jet Anklets now. I believe...
Yeah, the thing about Tails' story is that there is no variation in the route here. The runners will effectively be doing the same thing. Yeah. The only part that could potentially be different is Speed Highway, and that depends on how both runners want to handle that.
Quaker is
here, seeing
struggling.
Quaker doing a restart. Yeah. He's struggling with Windy Valley here. What he's actually doing is that he's trying to maintain... He's trying to hit the appropriate checkpoints in the level where he won't hit kill planes and he won't die, but at the same time still trying to finish the level in the fastest way possible.
Yeah.
He is going for some checkpoints just for safety here, but this will allow Alpha Dolphin to catch up significantly.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see some time difference made up here, because I believe that Alpha is the current world record holder for Tails' story.
I believe he is, yeah.
And he's going for Ice Cap first as Tails. Like, this is an option you can use.
Oh, yes. He's going out of sequence then.
So,
he's going out of
you lied. There is route variance.
There is. I didn't know that Alpha would go for this one. The question is he going to go for Task Skip in Ice Cap itself?
Of course he's not. Of course he's not.
It's happened in a run before.
Well, that's risky. That's dangerous. That's controversial.
Right. So as being proven completely wrong here by Alpha, thank you, Alpha. He has done a sequence break here where he is doing Ice Cap first. Tails can get into Ice Cap without using the key at all. So Alpha did try for the IL strat there, the Tash strat. He didn't get it, unfortunately. Not got the right angle on that one. But yeah, Tails can phase through the roof section in the Mystic Ruins to get into the Ice Cap room. But even before that, just in the train hub world of Mystic Ruins, you can fly out of bounds and then up and into the trigger, allowing to access this super early.
Ooh, nice super flight there as well from Alpha. By jumping off the ramps, you get like a big speed boost, but it's variable, like the amount of mileage you get out of it based on where you jump off the ramps. And if you jump off the very edge of the ramp, then you can go quite a bit further than you're supposed to.
Yeah, there is a chance for a second one of those jumps at the end of the level as well. We'll see if he can grab that one. So in the meantime here, it looks like that the French team is ahead. Let me just get that number again. Quaker
and
is
he did
ahead.
get the second super jump, so Alpha had a really nice Ice Cap there with both super jumps.
Fantastic. So Quaker just coming into Ice Cap at the moment here. However, he has already finished the Casinopolis stage. So
and Windy Valley.
And Windy Valley as well, yeah.
So basically Alpha needs to make up 2 stages of difference, although Alpha is pretty consistent at getting the quickest route in Windy Valley that Quaker tried and didn't get, so we'll see how that goes. But Alpha's also got to try and get the Egg Hornet triple before that. Quaker also went for the IL strat in Ice Cap, but he also didn't get it, sadly.
Yeah, so you can see Alpha there just practicing the jump cancels. You want to try and get a nice rhythm going for that against Egg Hornet.
He's just got the double, so he's gone for a 2-cycle on Egg Hornet. That happens. Like I say, that's a very difficult trick, and I suppose part of the problem of using the story route that Alpha is using, if you're grinding runs at least, is that you have to do Egg Hornet later, and putting off this fight till later in the run when the triple is as hard as it is, I wouldn't fancy doing that myself.
Personally, I think the issue with Tails' run is to get the perfect Tails run. There's both Ice Cap and Egg Hornet. Like, both of those stages are equally going to cause resets on you, because you want to try and get both super flights or the IL strat and Ice Cap, but you also want to get the triple hit on Egg Hornet.
Yeah. So it's a bit inconvenient either way.
It is.
But Alpha is reaching Windy Valley now, and I'm expecting to see just a pretty quick flight. Windy Valley, when using the quote-unquote correct route, typically takes under 30 seconds. So
you get it in about, I think, between about 22 and 28, depending on the route that you take. So you'll see him just flying off into the void here, but suddenly Sonic will rubber band ahead along with Tails. That's because he's hitting specific triggers in the level, but just knowing where you're falling towards.
Quaker
so
also
really
got the super flight. He got the second super flight, but he got it by about the narrowest margin possible, because if you notice, he did actually clip the ledge slightly, but it just didn't kill his momentum.
Yeah, so that's a fantastic Windy Valley by Alpha there. He done that in 18 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the fact that that's a massive time save now. Even though it doesn't look like it at the moment on screen, you'll see how this happens. So we've got Quaker doing the Knuckles into Chaos 4 sequence again, making sure you don't get any phantom hits on that one, where Alpha has to catch up by doing Casino, but early Casino here. Well, sorry, doing Casino is a rather quick stage, not early, but you'll see him just phase through the wall. Similar to Sonic and Ice Cap, there's just a little gap in the wall. You fly through it and you just head immediately to the Emerald.
It's significantly easier to get through that gap in the wall than it is for Sonic and Ice Cap, though.
Oh, definitely.
It's lenient enough that in IL attempts, you want to just go for that and go through without losing any momentum at all. Well, if you're taking that IL route. If you're doing ILs, there's a completely different route you can choose to take, just going above the level. So we're going to have both runners on Chaos 4 at the same time. Quaker's going to be at the tail end of the fight. Ha, funny. But we're hopefully going to see no blue balls through this fight. As I mentioned before, that staying airborne really helps avoid blue balls on Chaos, and Tails definitely has an easy time staying airborne a lot of the time. And as long as you do that when Chaos is about to decide his next attack cycle, that generally makes it so that he won't use blue balls.
Yeah, Tails is in theory the easiest character to manipulate blue balls on.
And Quaker's about done with it. So the time difference has been shortened by about 30 to 40 seconds, I would say. Like, Alpha has saved approximately 40 seconds over Quaker since this run started. But there are still quite a lot of problem areas to come up in this run. Like, Sand Hill is an easier boarding stage, but it's still not, like, easy by any means. And the Speed Highway Gravity Trick can definitely kill a lot of Tails runs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if either runner goes for that one. I would expect Alpha to go for it. Quaker, I'm not entirely sure if he's going to try that one or if he's just going to take it safe. Sandhill, the reason Sandhill can be quite hard is that there's a glitch going into Sandhill where you don't have to wait for the invisible barrier to disappear. You can fly over that one. Yeah. But inside Sandhill, each of the little rocks in that on the level can send you flying in the other direction and really kill your momentum. You want to try and avoid that one if you can do it.
Mm-hmm. So Alpha also getting up to Sky Chase. So
yeah, so at this point in time, both runners are back to normal, and as far as I'm aware, there's not much else that will diverge. So you can see Team France still in the lead by a good 30 seconds. We'll see if they can keep that going up into Knuckles' story, of course, as Knuckles' story is fraught with RNG.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Quaker has just put up a northeast corner, I'm going away message. Sky Chase is the perfect time to just stick a little break in, go grab some food or take a bio break or something. As long as you know how much time you've got, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and it is quite a generous couple of minutes that you've got, so it's quite ideal. And there's going to be another of these slightly later in the run as well, so that extends to the audience as well. After Sand Hill, if you want to take a little break, that'll be a good time.
Yeah, you could argue that Tails' story is really unfortunate because you've got effectively 4 auto-scrollers in a row if you do linear route, because you've got Ice Cap, which is snowboarding section, Sky Chase, and then you've got another snowboarding section in Sandhill, so sandboarding, and then another Sky Chase. It's like not really that much involved in it, but enough that you still have to focus to get a decent run.
So
Quaker coming to the end there.
My personal prediction is going to be that I think another part of the gap is going to be filled by the end of the race, and I think the time difference by the end of Tails' story is going to be about 20 seconds in favour of French team.
It could very well be. As I said, for me personally, that time difference is going to come down to who does Gravity Glitch on Speed Highway.
Yeah.
And if they are successful.
But Quaker got a very quick clip into Sandhill though, so that was very nice.
Yeah, so that clip, as you saw there, is okay, so you want to go up on the top corner, and then hopefully you get right through the ceiling and allows you to fall down into the level trigger for Sandhill. You want to make sure you don't overshoot that. You can overshoot that and just fall into the void. And then again, you saw Quaker get just hitting the speed boost, but also hitting a rock at the same time, causing him to not get as much of a speed boost as he would have liked.
Yeah, Sandhill is very tricky. Like, the floors aren't as much of a problem as in Ice Cap, but there's still quite a bit that can happen to interrupt your flow and your rhythm in this stage. But he's coming up to the end in still fairly decent time. So let's see if Alpha can follow suit. Trying to get on the switch. Yeah, collision in this game is... Alpha, you didn't get the switch? Alright, there you go. And he's also got the quick clip. So both players struggled to hit the switch, if anything, but then they both got very fast clips into the stage. That was interesting.
Definitely. So, fun fact about the end of Sandhill there. Normally you get the score screen, but for whatever reason, this is the only score screen that's programmed where you can just mash start and skip it. At the end of that, of course, we get the cutscene with Froggy, where we get sent back into the past. And before we can advance, we have to pick up the rhythm badge for Tails.
Which is completely useless in a practical sense.
It is. The only time you can ever really use it is in the Gamma fight if you want to, but other than that, it's got no speed value to it at all. It's just another one of those mandatory story points. Tikal herself will not spawn until you've picked it up.
Yeah. So a couple of seconds picked up for Team US in Sandhill there, though Alpha did spend, I think, a little more time in Hub World as well. So this is one of the things about trying to compare SADX runs just by going off the level times. It's never completely clear because the in-game timer never accounts for Hub World, which can result in a lot of time gain or time loss in certain places.
Yeah, hub world movement is a very significant part of this game because in Sonic Story, as you saw, there are a number of areas where you can use slope jumps to go faster, or you can jump through, walls, or you can skip loading sequences. But that extends to these other stories as well. You just want to have the most efficient movement possible, but it's not always easy to maintain that flow. Thankfully, we're on the last section of Sky Chase for both of these teams. You're not going to see this again. Hallelujah! As it really does. Like the two Sky Chases, two in Sonic Story and two in Tails' Story. Both of them together. It is about 10 minutes off an all stories run, or in this case, the relay. So it's a significant amount of time we're here doing basically nothing.
Unfortunately, I just don't really have too much to add right now, as we've already talked once before about the Sky Chase sections, and nothing's really changed about them since then.
Yeah, they don't. They are literally copy paste at this moment in time, but that's because it's story progression. At least you can say that SADX's story is coherent and consistent. Coherent, maybe not so much. Consistent, definitely.
Yeah. You can tell that this game was designed to be an RPG during development. So Quaker is getting done with Sky Chase right here, and so very shortly Tails is going to have his own variant of Skydeck, which is only really the first act of Skydeck, and a lot of it can be skipped with Tails' flight, so it's a very short stage.
Yeah, you'll have noticed throughout all Tails' runs here that the game generally picks one of the acts in the stage. For Windy Valley, it was Act 3. For Skydeck here, it's Act 1. And then in Speed Highway, he also gets Act 1, but goes a slightly different route through it.
Mm-hmm.
All abused by his flight, of course.
So So as you can see right off the bat, Tails' route through this stage differs quite greatly from the route that Sonic uses. Oh, that was... Quaker's just had to take an unfortunate restart there.
Oh wow, that was interesting. Docked off the side of the wall, missing the boost pad and falling to his death. That's going to cost him a good 10 seconds or so.
Indeed. Either way though, there are worse things that can happen in this run, and as far as needing to restart from the start of a stage goes, this is one of the more lenient stages for it, I'd say, since the stage itself is under 30 seconds long.
Yeah, Tails' stages are all generally quite short, which is a good thing.
Mm. Oh, Alpha struggling a little on one of the textures there, but still getting... Yeah, that section... That particular section that Alpha just got bounced backwards there a little, Quaker struggled with that as well, and that just seems to be a very awkward piece of, like, collision there. But the aforementioned speed highway is starting now, so this is one section where we're going to see... Ah, Quaker's not even opting for the gravity glitch, so he's just trying to take it safe, and if Alpha goes for it, then he could make up a significant amount of time here.
Yeah, this is where I believe the time save will come in on the Team America side. If they can, if Alpha can pull off Gravity Glitch, we'll see how much time he can pull back.
This definitely isn't easy though, so he's definitely going to be concentrating on landing this. And he's got it. Now he just needs to maintain it.
Now, Gravity Glitch is, in my opinion, the hardest glitch for Tails to do. Because as Draco said, once you've got it, you've got to hold it all the way to the end of the level.
Yeah. Egg Walker is... Oh, he's... No! He's just missed it while nearing the end of the stage. That's costly.
No! Unfortunately, there is no recovering from that.
Yeah, that's the worst. That is
definitely
really unfortunate.
That's a significant lead being given over to Team France here.
Mm-hmm.
Egg Walker, as we're going to say here, what you're going to notice happening is once Egg Walker has taken a hit, you'll notice that, I don't know if Quaker actually goes for it, but you can press the whistle button once you see Egg Walker starting to rise up again, and that will skip that animation and allow the fight to continue quicker. What you want to make sure, however, is that you make sure he's actually moving, because if you hit that button after you've hit him, but he's not already getting back to his feet, you will soft lock and have to restart the boss fight again. Well, that doesn't appear to have happened, so Quaker will be finishing Tails and passing over to Sora for Knuckles.
Indeed. Sora has just started Knuckles, and we'll be seeing that after another lovely Twitch advert.
Oh boy, which advert do we have now?
It's some, like, Mars Desert, I don't know. Either way, we've also got Egg Walker with Alpha, and he's hopefully going to be trying to... Yeah, one thing that you can try to exploit is you actually have control of Tails during the intro cutscene as well. So you can get into position with that initially. But he is doing the aforementioned whistle trick with Egg Walker, and you can see that Egg Walker's animations are extremely swift to begin with there.
Thank you very much, advert, for that. So in the...
Did it skip Speed Highway, really?
We have completely skipped Speed Highway with Sora because of that advert. So I can only assume that Sora got pretty damn good RNG on that one, but I'll never be able to tell you. So there you go.
Oh well. We'll just have to see.
Sora making his way off into Casino. Knuckles' story here, it's all treasure hunting PCs, and each stage has a set number of PCs, significantly lower than Sonic Adventure 2 does. But you want to try and get very, well, as we've seen there, very close pieces together. It looks like Sora has got the unlucky piece in the center, but handling it very well, finishing that stage in 13 seconds flat. Nice phase in the top. But that is just, that is absolutely ridiculous there, that RNG he just got. I believe you have a mature warning for Tommy. Tommy's a little bit mature there.
We're going to need to confirm that we are grown-ups to watch Tommy stream, so hopefully...
I'm not grown up enough for this. I'm not grown up enough.
Hopefully Yarlick can do that, otherwise we're not going to get to watch Team US on this one.
Nice job by Sora there, managing to regain control of Knuckles just after the cutscene there where Cream appears. That saves a good couple of seconds. Nothing too major, but always nice to move when you're not supposed to be able to. So we're going to see if he can do the quick Chaos 2 fight here. What you want to do after the first hit. Oh, is he man? Oh, see this. So what happens there is that if you jump away from Chaos 2 while he's in his puddle form, you can prevent him from spawning back up into his large bubble and then just finish him in around 16 seconds instead of having to wait for him to redo his attacks.
Yeah, they're being told that there just appears to be technical difficulties with Tommy's stream, apparently. So I guess we'll just watch Sora for now.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully Tommy is actually still running, otherwise this will be rather unfortunate for Team America. Sora with the monkey destruction switch. Again, exact same situation as we had with Sonic Story. You must destroy the Kiki to get into Red Mountain. The only way to do that with Knuckles is by using this monkey destruction switch. It's also a checkpoint because Knuckles needs to go and grab his drill claws, which allow him to dig into ground. And then in Red Mountain, we'll have a number of pieces that we have to dig for.
Yeah, that's right. So not getting a ping at the start of Red Mountain doesn't bode particularly well, but then still found the first two pieces relatively quickly. It's just not exactly clear where this third piece is going to be. And this
he was quite lucky there that he managed to get it, and quite rightly, he's taking the route going down behind the mountain just to check for a ping there. 9 times out of 10, though, this third piece is usually down the southern side of the map, hiding either on a platform or inside one of the enemies.
Yeah. So just because of the RNG, that wasn't a particularly good Red Mountain, but sometimes that's just what RNG causes in Knuckles' story. This is like the main difference between hunting in SADX and SA2 is that in SA2 you have the hint monitors that actually tell you where the pieces are. That system doesn't exist in SADX. Like, you do have Tikal, who will lead you to the next piece, but most of the time she's just going to disappear inside a wall, and it's like, okay, thanks Tikal.
Yeah, Tikal is not great at showing you where to go, especially if there's terrain in the way. I don't know if that's you that can press the start watching button. Oh, there we go. Nope, we're still mature.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not me that can press it because I am just restreaming Yarlick's stream.
Ah, so it's whoever has to. We really are watching a restream of a restream.
Yes, we are.
Damn.
Damn, Tommy, why'd you have to mark your stream 18+?
That's always safe. So you can see Sora here in our final Chaos 4 fight of the relay race here. Knuckles is kind of in between Sonic and Tails in terms of difficulty. What you want to be doing is, personally, between the second and third movements before he does an attack, you want to be jumping and then gliding in the air. As long as you're in the air, it should force Chaos to do a splash attack to try and bring you down. You want to just make sure that you get that off as much as you can.
Well, we just got a relay in the chat from Seraphim that Tommy apparently just finished Red Mountain, so he's certainly keeping pace, we just can't see it right now.
Well, that's definitely good to hear. You know, common sense would dictate that I just open up Tommy's stream as well.
But hey, that's no fun.
So I will do that just so we can get keeping up with Tommy. Yeah, we've got Tommy on the Chaos. He's just started the Chaos 4 fight as well, so he's here. He'll be catching up, or rather, maintaining his pace in the race. I don't know how far behind he'll be. Obviously, Sora just coming towards the end of the run here, whereas I'd say probably a good minute or so.
One interesting thing that we're going to see, though, once Sora enters Lost World, is that Lost World for Knuckles is the only stage where we don't actually have to hunt for emerald pieces. It's entirely possible to just skip the stage altogether.
Yeah, in Lost World here, we can use the same technique we did in Sonic, where we can be running towards a door that is currently closed, but then if we pause phase through it, it allows us to finish the level using the same capsule that Sonic would have. Unfortunately, that does mean that the Master Emerald is incomplete and the entire SA2 piece is no longer canon, so I'm sorry, Draco.
There's another strat that the runners can use when they pick up the silver key, which is called Canopy Skip, to try and avoid some of the backtrack towards the pyramid, but it's very difficult to land, and I don't know of any runners that consistently go for it. Wow, yeah, very quick Lost World from Sora, being 11 seconds, that's very fast.
So the way Sora has his story set up at the moment is that he has his story set up in such a way where the second that you end up in the Chaos Mural Chamber, the level automatically ends and you don't have to go and hit the capsule. It's a nice little time save and it is a legal strat, so it is entirely intentional. Tommy just heading towards the silver key right now, grabbing that and then heading into Lost World where he will hopefully replicate the same result. Yeah, so he did the same. He managed to do Lost World in 13 seconds there. So similar time to Sora there. Not much time lost.
So Knuckles' final stage is Skydeck, and as far as RNG variance goes throughout the stages, this stage is by far the worst offender. By a pretty big margin. Sora actually seems to be wandering around quite a lot here.
Yeah, Sky Chase is an interesting level. Surprisingly, he didn't bother using the lever at the start of the level to make sure to grab some of those pieces at the start. He has now done a restart, which will allow him to now activate the lever and go for the pieces that he's obviously missed. I think what he was doing there is he was doing some scouting just to know where his pieces are, because the worst case that you can get is that you get a piece in the north section of the ship here where you have to tilt the ship forward, and then also obtain another one or two pieces that are either buried underground or are sitting inside the left-hand side of the ship, which requires you to change the ship's tilt again, meaning you have to go back and forward, saving, well, costing you a lot of time. Whereas doing that little scout at the start there allows them to know where his pieces are, as they don't reset on a restart. I believe they only reset if you exit or if you game over.
That second attempt on Skydeck was very good though. Getting a 23 is fairly swift for Skydeck. And now Knuckles just needs to take care of a Chaos 6.
Yeah, so we've got Tommy here. He got one of the pieces at the start of the ship with the lever. He has the second piece, which is up where the gravity button should be. The question is, where is his third piece hiding? Because his ship is currently tilted forward, meaning he wants to make sure it is not getting stuck. Thankfully, it is in one of the little side rooms that he can clip into. The question is, will he be able to do it? He has. He's managed to successfully finish Sky Chase in around 45 seconds there.
Nice. One of the most inconvenient things you can see is for one of the pieces to be in the floor underneath one of the moving... I don't really know how to describe them, but like the moving trolleys, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And Team France is now moving on to Amy's story with V-frames after another lovely advert.
Eggman, can it be?
Clan Gamble, Dark Whiskey.
So, Amy's story is very interesting. Like, Amy's story is really, really short, and there's only a few stages that you play, but each of these individual stages has their own, like, big problem areas to address. Amy's Twinkle Park, her first stage, has what is, in my opinion, probably the most difficult skip in the game, if you go for the Twinkle Park Super Skip, and I'll honestly be very surprised if either runner goes for them, gets them, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't believe you're going to see any of that happening.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see the second fastest way going through that. You're going to see them skip the mirror room.
Yeah. Amy's Hot Shelter just has like a lot of technical and difficult tricks, and then Amy's Final Egg has what we know as the RNG door, which we'll
And
explain
it really
when
is
we get there.
RNG. Like,
Yeah.
it sucks.
It's completely random, yes.
Right, so Tommy has just finished Chaos 6 there, so hopefully it will be switching over to Flandre's stream,
Yay!
and he will be starting Amy.
Okay, so V-Frames
see.
attempted the super skip for Twinkle Park, but he messed it up at the third hammer jump, which that's an easy part to mess up.
That is unlucky, but that was a very nice attempt. So he's going to do the mirror room skip instead, where you do the hammer on the corner between the door and the wall, and you just phase through right towards the mirror room, because why not?
Yeah.
Just make sure you cross back over into the proper realm, otherwise you'll fall into the void, and we know we don't want to be sent to the shadow realm. That's never good.
The problem with the super skip is that, like, he got about halfway through the skip there, and I would say the final part of the skip is the most difficult part to land correctly. So, it's one of those tricks where, like, it is not over until it's over.
Yeah, I mean, getting a 55 there, still a respectable time, especially when you were going for the super skip at the start.
So we'll see what Flandre opts for here. He tried to get a little speed boost off the car pushing Amy there, but wasn't quite on it properly. But let's see how this goes now. We'll be able to very quickly see.
Super skip.
Yeah, we'll quickly see if that happens. He's not even going for it. He's just going for the regular strat, which is,
That's fine.
honestly,
Yeah,
considering it's a race, that's probably the wise decision.
So now we've got V4Me's doing the most pointless part of the game ever. Why the game forces us to play Hedgehog Hammer to get the Warrior Feather, I have no idea, because the Warrior Feather is even more useless than the Rhythm Badge for Tails, but it is a mandatory requirement.
Yeah.
So if you do not get the score that you need, then you are in trouble. But you can just see here, he's just completely toying with the system. He's got enough points, he doesn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
He's gonna play around with it.
You can't even
Gotta
speed
wait
that
for
section
that.
up either. Like,
Nope.
it wouldn't be too bad if, once getting the 2,000 points, the segment just ended, but you can't speed it up.
Nope, you have to wait it out. I mean, it does make her look fabulous, but it is entirely useless.
Yeah. He also went for the early elevator skip in Hot Shelter there, where you can try and use the momentum from the hammer jump to clip through a precise spot on the ceiling, but he just didn't finagle it quite right there. It's honestly pretty difficult to land.
He did, however, get the first door clip, which is very nice. Normally, Takal can get in your way there, and it'll hit you.
Yeah. It says left 1, right 3.
It does, which you'll know if you run the game.
Mm-hmm. So
Again, Hot Shower here, as Draco said, it's just a very technical stage. You want to do a number of these hammer jumps, and then just make sure you're maintaining as much forward momentum as you can.
and then
You will see
the bathroom break.
Bathroom break. Yeah, best named skip in this game. Where you quite literally just let the bathroom door push you through the wall and taking you to the inside of the The insides of the egg carrier, really. Like, Amy could do some serious damage in here.
Indeed.
I mean, you've
Oh.
just let a pink hedgehog with a hammer
Oh.
inside your ship.
That was almost perfect. Like, that was still pretty nice. He would have preferred to land on the other side of the door there, but that was still very well executed for how far he got through that.
That was very smooth. That was very, very smooth. And then getting the jump and using the hammer to move your hitbox through to the spring. It's very nicely done.
Color blocks are irritating. It's
Yeah, color block puzzles.
These are more difficult than they seem because you need to be completely stationary when you place them, otherwise Amy will throw them, and the actual acceptable range for placing them in the holes isn't as large as it seems.
No, there is a second puzzle here, but we'll see if any of the runners are going for the skip.
V from E's also used a nice little exploit there where one of the weird properties in this game is that the capsules have their own field of gravity, and he used the capsule's field of gravity to pull him in and give him a stronger hammer jump once he hammer jumped on the slope there.
He did also manage to get the puzzle skip, which is a fantastic skip when done right. A lot trickier than it looks, though.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see if Flandre goes for the same skip as well, managing to successfully get into puzzle room number 1.
He's getting pushed a little by Zero there, but it's not particularly major. Like, Zero himself is a constant issue in these stages, that the objective of these stages is to reach the end of the stage whilst evading Zero, but as long as you're constantly moving and you're not basically letting him catch up to you, Zero's basically never going to catch you.
Yeah, you'll notice that the runners are always jumping with Amy. It's exactly as you've just said there. It's Amy moves faster while in midair. You don't want to be doing the big hammer jumps, you just want to be doing standard jumps. The only time you want to be doing hammer jumps is if you're going down a downward slope, as the hammer jump there will translate into horizontal momentum, allowing you to move faster.
Even going on an upward slope, though, it can be worth it, as whilst you're moving uphill, Amy herself is going to move a lot slower, but while you're using a hammer jump, you're going to spend more time airborne, so you're not necessarily going to decelerate going up that hill.
Yeah, so coming up into Amy's final leg, again, this is just more technical movement using the jumps where appropriate, but the main area or main issue of this area is the final act, where we have 5 doors to choose from, and only one of them will allow us through to the balloon.
Yeah.
The problem is, as far as we can tell, it is entirely random. The game generates it at random. There is no telltale sign which one it is. So this is why Amy is considered one of the worst stories to run, because you could be on PB pace here and then get the worst door possible.
Yeah, you basically have if you're going for world record attempts, you've basically got a 20% chance at this point. If you've managed to get a run this far, you have a 20% chance of continuing the run. And it's not even enough to try and open a door and then look through it to see if the corridor is there, because the correct path doesn't actually load in until you're halfway down the correct corridor. So you actually do need to spend some time going down a path to figure out if it's the correct one or not.
Yeah, personally, the best thing I think to do is to try and open 2 doors at the same time. So while one door is opening, you open a second door, so that at least gives you 2 attempts. But
So
we'll see how this goes.
Okay, so 2. So he's got at least third try door. 3. Okay, wow, this is not great. Yeah, he's got 5th door.
Wow, he got the worst RNG possible.
So yeah, if Flandre gets first try door now, then that's just made up most of the time difference.
I would say it's made up about 20 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is nuts. That is really, really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's really
worst
bad.
RNG possible. That is exactly what you don't want to happen.
One thing to note as well, I don't think we'd mentioned before, even though you want to be jumping with Amy a lot because she generally moves faster in midair, if Amy is ascending a staircase, for whatever reason, she runs up those very quickly. So you do just want to run up staircases where they exist.
However, while climbing a ladder, that's an entirely different story, as you're about to see here.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll see V from Reese here trying to get up onto the top of the jungle canopy here, navigate his way back up to where the ladder to the Mystic Ruins main hub world is.
Flandre is also getting shafted by doors. Let's see.
Yeah, so you can see how slow Amy is climbing there. You want to get halfway up that ladder at least.
Both runners got 5th door.
Oh, for the love of
that is a 1 in 25 chance for both runners to get 5th door. That's unreal.
RNG is not blessed with us. I'm going to blame Sora and Tommy for stealing all the RNG.
I mean, it's like, at least neither of the runners got an advantage from that. Like, it's still equal. So, in terms of the race, that didn't cost either team any time, I suppose.
So we've got the Zero fight now where we want to donk Zero into the electrified barriers here and then get 3 hits on him. You want to try and get the quick hits where if you hit him quick enough, he'll immediately jump up and get shocked again. And it looks like V for me is getting a very good... Yeah, you got a perfect fight there.
15 is very good. And so Team France is now moving on to Big Story. And Flandre is just making his way across the canopy, and he will also be making his way to Zero. So Flandre got a little bit of a bad latch onto the ladder itself. We mentioned before that Amy has a very slow ladder climbing speed, so ideally you want to try and latch onto the ladder by being at the peak of a hammer jump, but it's quite difficult to manage that, and Flandre didn't really get the ideal hammer jump there. But Team France has moved on to Mako with Big Story, and so we're going to see how this goes. As far as story length goes, excluding Supersonic Story, which is treated as a miscellaneous category, this is the shortest category in the game.
Yeah, a good big story, I believe, can be done in around 6 minutes. Average big stories between 8 and 10.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, and we need our fishing practice. So fishing here is not as easy as it looks. You do have to lure Froggy to the rod, make him take the bait, and then once you've hooked him, you want to make sure you don't snap the rope, because if you snap the rope, you lose the life and you have to restart the stage. There are 2 buttons that you can use. You can use the X and A buttons, or the square and X buttons, depending on which controller you're using. But one of them is a strong reel, the other one is just a standard reel. It's best if you hold the standard reel button and then mash the strong reel. That allows you to maintain pretty much the strongest pull-in strength without snapping the rope.
That said, we have a new glitch in Big Story now, which is kind of changing the way that I guess runners are going for the category, where I'm not even entirely sure about the details of the trick. All I know is that it's something to do with if you use both of the shoulder buttons at the correct frame, you will immediately reel whatever you've hooked, including Froggy.
If you press both these shoulder buttons, it cancels the line and it brings it back and allowing you to fish again. But if you can do it pretty much on the exact frame that Froggy bites, then you pull him in immediately. The problem with that is if you miss, you've obviously got to refish, and I don't know if there's any other way. I don't know if there's any other repercussions of it. But that's Team France here grabbing big green flotation device. And you can also see how Big is the complete opposite of Amy. He can climb ladders very, very fast.
Yeah.
He is very good at that.
Big is a very good climber. And so for Team US, we've got Ethmar playing Big. And so Ethmar has just also finished Twinkle Park himself, so he's about a stage behind. He's also going to be making his way to Ice Cap now.
We've got back home there grabbing Froggy and Ice Cap fairly quickly. Getting a little bit of buffering now on my end. Hey.
Yeah, same.
Not the frog. There we go. He's back and he caught him.
Still buffering quite a bit on my end, unfortunately. Slideshow %.
I currently have Big doing a fantastic pose at the moment. It's very nice. He's just like, yeah, froggy.
Oh no, that fox is going to eat that frog.
No, not again. It's always amazing how Froggy manages to evade Big, even though he's just been caught by him.
Yeah.
So Malcolm is heading to Emerald Coast, where he will hopefully be able to catch Froggy once again. This time in Emerald Coast, you can catch him by using the life belt to just float pretty much right next to Froggy, allowing you to have the shortest reel possible, where it's almost an instantaneous grab if done correctly.
Mm-hmm. This looks like it's going to be a pretty good reel for Ethmar and Icecap, although one thing that can certainly happen while you're fishing for Froggy is if you try and reel him in too strongly, then the line can just break, which equates to a death.
Wah, wah. Yeah, as you can see there, Big eating the frames, but you get the general idea. He's went into the pool where Froggy resides and is currently fishing him in.
Yeah.
Just enjoy Big staring into your soul. Oh.
Oof, Ethmar's struggling with staircases a little here, like it's actually not easy.
So Big in hot shelter here is again trying to catch Froggy. You got an angle from Froggy's viewpoint there to let you know which quadrant that you should be fishing for. Hopefully Mako there, yep, managing to position himself correctly enough to grab Froggy pretty much immediately as he spawns, then just luring him in fairly quickly and then heading out towards Chaos 6. Fun fact, for whatever reason, Big is the only character that gets to take the monorail inside the egg carrier. Don't know why. He built this wonderful monorail, but nobody else gets to use it.
We're also going to see quite shortly that Big is totally the strongest character in this game and can kill Chaos 6 in one hit.
The thing is, I don't believe he kills Chaos 6 though. I think he just fishes out Froggy and then legs it.
Yeah, that counts. I don't know.
It counts as a kill. No, I think he literally just fishes him out and then says, "I'm taking this plane and getting out of here." Yeah, so we're coming up to the Chaos 6 fight here, where the idea is just the same as it's always been in every other stage. You want to fish out Froggy. You'll see a little hexagon appear where Froggy currently is. You want to aim your lure at that spot. But there is travel time involved. It's not just a case of point and click. So we'll see how it goes.
Poussin, c'est à
Well,
toi.
no, we won't see how it goes because we've just transitioned to start of Gamma story for
Way!
By,
Fantastic!
by Poussin Tater.
We caught it. Yeah, we can assume he caught it then.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
So,
Hopefully we will see it on Ethmar's stream. So we've got oh, I'm going to butcher his name. What is it? Poussin Tater?
Poussin Tater, I think, yeah.
Poussin Tater, yeah. So Gamma's story here. Gamma, actually I lied. Gamma's is the most broken story in all of SADX because we're going to be doing his levels. We're going to be doing glitched route. So we'll be doing them in a reverse order, which requires some menuing back to the trial menu and effectively doing the levels backwards from Hot Shelter onwards. So his objectives are always to destroy something, be it a Sonic doll or his fellow E-Series robots. So while we're waiting for him to blow up, or rather fight Beta, should we say, we're going to see Ethmar here go for his Chaos 6 fight. Will he fish Froggy?
He's taking a second attempt here. There we go, second try. And that is how to fish Froggy out of Chaos. And then as soon as you touch the tornado, that is time for Big Story. And so we're transitioning over to Wanamaker's channel. Wanamaker is doing Gamma for Team US.
So currently we see Team France over in Emerald Coast. You're going to see, I wonder how he's going to do this. Is he going to do the pillar jumps, or is he going to do the jump over to the peak? He is doing the pillar jumps, or he did the pillar jumps.
He is doing them pillar jumps.
It's amazingly hard to do them because Gamma has a rather large hitbox, which you would think would make it easy, but if your positioning is wrong, you are going for a swim.
Yeah, the collision in this game, it can be very awkward in a lot of places. Either a lot of textures either seem to be too sticky or they're too slippery, and it's like, yeah, a lot of bad things can happen in a lot of spots.
Indeed, indeed. So after Emerald Coast, Gamma gets set back in time here, which allows us to do well, it allows you to skip through this and get sent back to the egg carrier, but he's going to be doing a lot of warping around the place now because of glitched route. He is going to go in and free Amy here. This allows Amy's story to progress, and then he's going to be told to go and grab his hover upgrade, his jet booster, and that is where the fun begins, because we can use that to get into Hot Shelter early, using a little bit of out of bounds work. And then as the game detects that you've completed Hot Shelter, it goes, oh well, if you've completed Hot Shelter, you must have completed the Red Mountain level, and then after Red Mountain you must have completed the Windy Valley. So it unlocks the levels backwards for us, and through a little bit of menuing we can get to 90% without really leaving the egg carrier.
Yeah, it's convenient as well that with having the jet booster now with Gamma, it's a rare instance of getting a character upgrade that is actually useful and that is a welcome addition, because the jet booster is useful in a lot of places.
So you're just going to watch on the French side here. He's going to transform into his drive mode and then try and position himself where he will get out of bounds. And that'll allow them to jump around. I'm not quite sure what's happening at the moment. He's not quite managing to get out of bounds with the transformation. Finally managing it.
He's got there now. Yeah, he's there now.
Yeah, and then hovering around into the entrance of Hot Shelter. Again, Hot Shelter, especially with the jet booster here, walls just don't exist.
Just like Amy, Gamma is a character where you want to avoid climbing ladders if at all possible, because Gamma does not take well with ladders.
No, I will admit, it's a case that Gamma is very, very good at climbing, because he can climb. He's a robot who can climb. Like, it might not be fast, but my god, he's ahead of his generation, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You can't manually go into drive mode. Drive mode is based on moving forward at a set speed for a certain amount of time. The way you go into drive mode to go through the Hot Shelter clip is just simply because the game doesn't recognize that you're not actually moving forward in any set distance, and then it'll automatically transform you into drive mode, changing your hitbox and allowing you to go out of bounds.
Yeah. Poussin was struggling a little with the Hot Shelter skip there, which has multiple different steps which aren't really trivial, and clipping back into the train section there, it's important to do that in the correct manner, since if you land in the wrong place, like on the train itself, then you just immediately softlock.
Yeah, you don't want to be touching any part of the train section, because when the game will try and set you into the auto-scrolling section, but because you didn't do it the way the game intended, it doesn't know how to react and you never hit the loading trigger.
Exactly.
We will see how Team US decides to go ahead with the skip up to the train section here. Are they going to try and do the wall run, or are they going to
Oh.
double back on themselves? Oh,
He had the
okay.
wall run, but he fell off near the ceiling. That's just a matter of not maintaining the correct running angle, I believe. He had it again, but it happened again.
Yeah, so you'll see now on Team France that they have skipped out into the trial menu. As I said, Hot Shelter is complete, which unlocks Red Mountain. What they're going to try and attempt in Red Mountain here is get themselves wedged between the rocks and the wall. The rocks take priority, it pushes you out of bounds and allows you just to glide down.
Oh, wow. Wanamaker got the soft lock.
Oh no, too close.
He was still too close to the train.
Yep. Oh yeah. Looking at the position for Wanamaker there, you want to be right at the far end. You do not want to be anywhere near the platform at all, because it will trigger and that's it. Like, it's done. You've got to go back in there and restart. Unhappy face on Wanamaker's stream there. He's not happy about that, unfortunately.
Team US were depending on you, man.
It is definitely unfortunate. So Team France, they are just finishing Red Mountain, which will in turn unlock Windy Valley in the trial menu. Windy Valley, relatively simple stage. You just want to go all the way forward from the start, hit the spring, navigate around some invisible walls, and then head towards E103. They're going a different route in this one. Instead of going for the springs, they're just going to do the other strat where they're just going to go round the corner, pray that they can phase through it in time, and make sure they're not going to hit the kill plane.
Yeah, I'm absolutely terrible at that left side clip myself.
I am absolutely terrible. I will take the spring any day.
Yeah. Wanamaker's still just struggling with the ceiling clip in Hot Shelter.
I see a US flag and a French flag. It's Team US versus Team France. With British commentators, this is a very weird setup, but hey.
Indeed, yeah. There we go, he's safe this time.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. It is a case of you want to make sure you completely clear that platform. You don't want to be anywhere near it, as you see the soft lock that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So now, back on Team France there, they've finished all the levels. Now all they need to do is just hit all the story advancement triggers. So they're going to come outside here and fight Sonic. Again, another character fight, just dodge the Phantom hits and you're all good. Interesting tidbit though is that after the Sonic fight, you get sent down to the Mystic Ruins. But unfortunately, because it's a cutscene to the Mystic Ruins, it doesn't open up the area to Red Mountain. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take an intentional death to allow the second cutscene to trigger. Of course, what you want to do is when you're down there, is you want to hug the wall as the kill plane is slightly higher up there, and it allows the cutscene to activate. Once they get back into Red Mountain, though, because they've already finished the game, what they can do is they can quit out immediately. That will trigger the flag to say, right, we've got to get ourselves back up to the egg carrier, and then they will take an intentional death over at Angel Island, which will put them back at the start of the Limestone Cave. Little death warp, saving a good couple of seconds there, but every second helps at this point.
Mm-hmm. So for Team France, with Gamma, they've basically just got Beta Mark II to come. And as far as this story is concerned, Beta Mark II has one of the most annoying tricks you can do in the run, which is the early shot. Which is pretty much just a matter of trying to fire the gun on the first frame of the fight.
Yeah, early hit, it's great when you get it, but my god, it's frustrating trying to mash for it.
So just
So
gonna
you just
see.
saw again there, the second he gets into the egg carrier, the cutscene triggers to say, I've already rescued Zeta, we can head straight to Beta.
And Poussin did not get it.
So just a typical fight for Poussin now. It's a case of just do it as normal.
He's
Wait
restarting
for
for
Beta
this.
to Marcus.
Like he's restarting twice for this, but I don't really recommend that, as I believe if you miss it, it doesn't save time.
No, it doesn't. If you've already missed it, there's no point. However, there is no risk of dying on this fight. There are plenty of rings scattered around. As long as you make sure you're all good and you have at least one, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just want to make sure for the first couple of hits here, he'll just fire off some missiles and then try and charge towards you. You want to intentionally take a hit and then just hit him on the first frame possible. His final 2 hits, he'll disappear up towards the backside behind you and fire off a few Hadokens or Kamehamehas or however you want to describe them. Meanwhile, we see Wanamaker just trying to finish his Windy Valley segment here. Unfortunately, the robot's doing a little bit of jumping on their final death animation there. Ideally, you get the hits in early enough that they don't get any actions off, but I'm always one for my robots jumping. It costs a few seconds before their death animation finally takes place.
And that is time for Poussin. And so I believe they will be moving over to Refrag for Supersonic Story. And Supersonic Story is extremely short. The Supersonic Story is between 3-4 minutes, give or take. So Team France is nearing the end of their run.
They are indeed. So for Supersonic Story here, it is just a case of making sure you understand where you're going for your cutscene triggers. You're playing as Sonic for the start sequence here. Skip the whole bunch of cutscenes, you gotta head over to Angel Island where Robotnik and Knuckles have met with a terrible fate. And then you finally get whisked away back to the past, where you finally realize what's happening and what chaos actually is. Again, once you regain control of Sonic from this point, you are able to take another death warp back to the start of the Limestone Cave. And then remember to go to the jungle, where the last Chaos Emerald is. And don't pull a me and go to Station Square. I did it again yesterday.
Damn.
The actual fight itself for Perfect Chaos takes place in Station Square, but you get there via the jungle, because that makes sense.
Sadix is hard.
Sadix is very hard.
Man, if it's not Sonic taking a death there, it's Gamma.
Hey, both of them taking the death warps, it's all good. So yeah, we've got the Perfect Chaos fight coming up now. Chaos only using the negative power of the Emeralds. The power of friendship and teamwork can bring Supersonic from any Emerald by the looks of things. So what you're going to see Refrag doing here is you're going to see this blue aura around Supersonic. That is the hint that's telling you you are moving fast enough that you will be able to hit Chaos. He manages to get the first quick hit on him. What you want to do is the second that you start ascending up to hit Chaos on the head, you want to pull back, and that'll allow you to skip the animation and get the quick hit. The issue with doing that is that if you miss that and you kill enough of your speed, you may miss the hit entirely.
And Wanamaker got the early shot on Beta Mark II. So this makes Beta Mark II only a 3-hit fight rather than a 4-hit one.
That's 2 perfect hits on Refrag's Supersonic fight.
Yeah, that's very good.
We'll see if he can get all 6. He got 3. He's 3 for 3 at the moment.
And these perfect hits on Perfect Chaos are definitely not trivial.
They are not. As I said, it's a case of if you go for them, you need to pull back, which kills your speed. If you miss that, you give up the hit, and you have to do the run again.
He's 4 for 4. Wow. Could this be the Supersonic Story world record?
It very well could be.
Well, we've also got Taco has a chance at getting a good Supersonic Story.
We do. It's up to Taco now. Can he pull this back for Team US? Unfortunately, there, from what I've just managed to catch, the Refrag missed his 5th hit, unfortunately. Yeah. But he did recover the hit in time, which is good.
Coming up on the final hit, though, which will be time. Once the 6th hit is inflicted, that is time. Oh, he's struggling, though. Chaos is being mean. Is he going to be able to get this? That's not going to be enough speed. Alright, he's having to take him... Oh, he got it still. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. I thought you didn't
Yeah,
have enough speed
if you do, you maintain enough momentum while jumping. Like it's the same as Amy. If you're in the air with supersonic, you're gaining more speed than you would if you're running across the water. The blue aura is the indication that you are at max speed, but you can still get it just with your standard aura, which is all good. He was very lucky with that last hit though, so it's now up to Taco to finish as much as he can. That looks like it was a 130, what I would say maybe a 139.25 or something for Team France.
Something like that, yeah. So let's see if Taco can get his perfect chaos fight. Ah, rubbish. First hit was not perfect. Rubbish.
Draco with his get good at bosses voice there.
Exactly.
Oh no.
So, Taco should be done definitely within the next minute, so it's looking like this is going to be a 139 versus a 141, which definitely is not going to be a bad race result.
No, definitely not. Like it was a very good race that happened. Again, happened to be a part of the commentary for it here. It was good watching it going on.
No problem. It's been great having you here for commentary. I mean, I think you know this game quite a bit better than I do, so...
Oh, he got a perfect hit! He got a perfect hit!
Indeed he did. So...
He got good at bosses. You can't say anything anymore.
He could still get the perfect second half. It could still happen.
He could indeed. He could
And
indeed.
this is the more difficult segment of the fight since Chaos throws a lot more junk at you.
He does. His attacks get more vicious, and it's just a case of predicting where they're going.
Oh, he's 2 for 2. Okay. He's 3 for 3.
Hey!
So, one more, and this could be the ideal finish. And he got it, nice. He ended the fight with 4 perfect hits.
Nicely done.
And it's a low 142 we're ending with, so a 139 versus a 142. Definitely still not too shabby.
No, definitely not too shabby there. There was a few mistakes in each story there. It's not a fact that one person lost this race. There were a number of different issues going through there, but
Yeah, definitely.
overall,